because the system's set up so I can go through these hundreds of reports quickly. And so I'm not looking for attachment. I already told you all this, for attachments and all this shit. I mean, I just, so I can, and I speed read. I read 70,000 words a minute. I mean, I can speed read, and I can get through the reports. And whether I highlight in yellow, red, green, or purple, whatever, it doesn't make any difference. It's whatever highlight I picked up, you know, or whatever button for highlighting. So the color of the highlighting means nothing. It does mean it points out that I'm bringing it to your attention. Have you seen what a fucking meathead you are? And you know, when you say that you spent 5 hours a day on Facebook, and hopefully none of you will say that, but we have had it in the past. And I said, what the fuck are you smoking? I mean, what's wrong with you? Can't you see what I see? Or I'll put some comment like that. But when you answer these questions, you will figure out quickly. And even though the reports are weekly, there aren't, those. You have to, it's best if you keep track of the information daily, because you will not remember. When the report, let's say, is due a week from Sunday, I don't know if it is or not, someone will say, and for you to start putting down the information of the report on Saturday, it will not be accurate because you will not remember. And so if you keep track of the time on a daily basis, and then when you go back to recapitulate, or not recapitulate, to gather up the information and put it on the report, then it'll be more accurate. Now remember, the report is for you, kids, not for me. It's for you to see how you perform or don't perform. Bruce Whipple, the guys still send me reports decades later. Now, after the mentor program, I don't promise to read anything. Occasionally, I scan, and if I see something really ugly, from somebody from 10 years ago, I said, Jesus Christ, what the fuck's wrong with you? Get your head out of your ass. Did you read this fucking thing before you said it to me? But the most telling section of the report is at the bottom. What am I not telling Dan? I'm doing snuff sex, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm shooting my 4-year-old kid up with heroin. I've seen it all. I've fucking seen it all. And it was a suggestion of a psychopath mentee of mine a few years ago. We're not telling you everything, Mr. Peña. I said, what do you mean? You should put a section in, what am I not telling Dan? Never done, and I did, God almighty. The information, bad shit that you're involved in, that, I would never even relate to business, but everything's related. I understand that. But,
because it's so easy to break into emails now. That's pretty risky stuff.
Yeah, well, I'm not. I'm not breaking into emails. You're sending me the email.
Other people, law enforcement.
Oh yeah, the cops can easily.
Yeah. Now, did you rat people out?
No, I've never ratted people. I'm not a snitch.
So
I do good in prison. I'm not a snitch.
We can keep dealing drugs.
Yeah. I don't give a fuck as long as I don't know about it. I don't care. But the system is based on moral, ethical, and legal. But ethics and morality swing in the wind. Ethics and morality is anybody's definition. Okay? Now just look at the pervert dog. You know what his fucking ethics and morality are. Okay? So when I say legal, moral, and ethical, it's the legal I stand on. It's, you've got to do business where there's a rule of law. You don't have to do a fucking thing. But if you want to succeed at this, you have to do business where there's a rule of law. Because if there's not a rule of law, you're going to be taken advantage of. Now, see, you want to do business where there's no rule of law because you think you're going to take advantage of somebody else. For those people where there's no rule of law, have been fucking people like you for practice for centuries.
They're pros.
They're pros at it. So, don't think that you're going to be able to take advantage of any of these countries. But now you've seen it from the teenage multimillionaire to the 2 tons of fun, and everybody in between. And some of them you can relate to more than others. I've asked you 2-3 times, and you told me I can relate to him or I can relate to her, etc. But the bottom line on all of the people is that being tough. Simon didn't have to get tough; he was tough. But virtually everybody else had to get tough to complete the deal whether, they define themselves as being ruthless. I don't have a ruthless mentee. That's bullshit. They don't know what ruthless really is. I don't have a savage mentee like they just look. They don't know what savage really is. So they're overemphasizing, over-describing, exaggerating. Because we don't have anybody that really falls in that category. I'm the closest to ruthless and savage that we got, and but I don't have any mentees like that. They're just not, and they've been able to get the deals done. But compared to what they were, church mice, they think they're ruthless, but it's amusing to me. And but there is a common thread. Sally, as you probably know, she started out. She's a cordon bleu chef. She's a psychologist by education. She's a chartered accountant, and she's a sailor. She's crossed the Atlantic on a sailboat. So she's got a kind of multifaceted background. And she says the kids, and we all know our parents what they did to us. But he said that the main thread that all of you, not just this group but all the groups, have: one, you came here because you want to better your life, whether it was real desperation or not. It was enough of a desperation. You're here. You want change. You want to invoke change. But I want to invoke permanent and lasting change. And there's a difference between changing for the next week and permanently. And you don't switch overnight. You don't become something overnight. And it's a process. And part of the process that will help you evoke permanent change in yourself is the QLA process, anchor chairman, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. By the time you do a deal with a motivated seller, you've given dozens and dozens of presentations. You've been in front of a lot of high-performance people, and you've been in front of some doofuses, some idiots, okay? And but getting back to how you toughen up, you will see the people that are the tough ones, and almost all high-performance people are pretty tough. And we've talked about the names, the Jobs, the late Steve Jobs, Elon, Warren, Mr. Trump, etc. And so you have a model now. You know what to go for. But the most important thing is your first deal. The rest is bullshit. And all the questions about refinancing and holding companies, and I don't have to repeat your questions, really don't make any difference. They don't make any difference. You start with 100% owner finance, non-recourse. If those are two of your legs on your three-legged stool, the only other thing is a deal, a motivated seller. And non-recourse is everywhere, but it's not easy to get. But if you pound on it, as did Jason Nagy, God bless him, in his infinite way, Australian way, but it's possible. The Peter, the hospital magnate, you can get it, but you got to push hard. And the words you use, you got to push back. Now, see, I never thought about pushing back because I always push. So I'm the one that pushes, and they push back. But you've got to push, and you've got to keep up on the pressure. You've got to keep the pressure on your board. You've got to keep and I'll keep the pressure on you for the next few months. And then you've got to keep pressure on the financial institutions, which are commercial banks in your case, and you've got to keep pressure on the sellers and have a seller's funnel. Remember, you've got a seller's funnel, you've got a financial funnel. And both are important. Neither one can go dry. But it's a numbers game. It's a numbers game. Certain of you are in better parts of the world for information, i.e. the Dutch Chamber of Commerce is terrific. The German Chamber of Commerce. There are some that are extremely detail-oriented, and they place the onus on the business owner to report the goddamn numbers on time. But certain parts of the world are not like that. South America is not like that. The United States has a Chamber of Commerce, but the numbers are more or less worthless. Yes, sir.
Let's say you're decided an industry and you get ready.
We had a guy roll up miniature golf. I just thought of that. We had a guy miniature golf thing, and because he used to be a golfer, I just thought of it. Anyway, go ahead.
And then something completely unrelated shows up that a good deal that you just found out because you were looking for other things, should you just
You just walk away.
What?
We're not in the fix-it business.
No,
It's
no,
really-
no, a good deal, but in an unrelated industry.
Oh, yeah, well, then you might want to pivot.
Okay.
Okay, if you can do more deals in that industry, I'm not telling you to walk away from the bird's nest on the ground, as they say, but we're not in the fix-it business. And some of the guys that go through the program not just the last several years, for the entire length of the program, 26 years, that have been running businesses, think they can fix businesses. If I can step in there and I can do this, and that takes longer. Okay, we want to buy top line that the debt service is covered by the free cash flow. The more times the debt service covers the free cash flow, the better we like it. You heard Josh say 2-3 times. He's not the only one. 2-3 times. But most of you that have looked at deals in the past really didn't know what you were looking for, because of that loan to value, that 67% loan to value equity, which is the norm. That's conventional wisdom. That's common consensus. And so you've been taught that way, you've learned that way, and so it's tough to shake that. It's tough to shake that. You had a little schematic you showed me about first deal, second deal, 120% finance, you know that thing that you had in the bottom? Yeah, but that is it. That is the deal. But, and if you want to see somebody that really did it by the book, Andreas, except for the notary and the GmbH bullshit that you got to go through, he's by the book. I mean, he did everything exactly the way you're supposed to. Very Germanic. You know, the Germans do make mistakes, but the Andreas hasn't made one. Yeah.
If you have one of those bad deals in the pipeline, it's about to get signed, like before you didn't know how to do it right.
Yeah.
Should you not do it?
No, I wouldn't do it. I'd walk away.
Okay.
Now, he already did a couple of deals, and he's supposed to close on a deal, and so before he came here, he's not the only one. One or two others of you have done deals. That's fine. I can't go fix those deals, and I wouldn't be interested in fixing those deals. But if they're fix-em-ups always take longer, always cost more, not just in capital, but emotional capital. And, you know, it's not worth it. You have a clean-cut, system. You have the processes, the systems, and the procedures. You know, my advice is to follow, we're going to call it the Andreas model now, by the book. Everything by the book. And you'll make a shit ton of money. Remember, almost everybody that does their first deal equates to about $1 million to you. About.
Say it again.
Everybody that does one deal, the first deal, see, he woke up now. The first deal, if you follow them up, like that deal on the board, that's about $1 million to him. About $1 million. 1.5 million, 1.45 he's paying. He owns 2/3. Equates to about $1 million. How long have most of you ever worked to get $1 million? Some still not today, okay, but longer than one deal, longer than a few weeks, right? If you think it that way, if you think it on the small end, on the larger end, every deal is going to be $2 million, then $3 million. Then you won't go to sleep. You know, you're not going to talk to your kids. You're going to postpone Christmas. I mean, because every time and that's how I got it. And I got, I believe in overkill. I'm OCD. I'm compulsive disorder. So I went overboard. But every deal, and when you do a $10 million deal, unless you fuck it all up, it's going to be $5-6 million to you. How long does it take you guys to make $5 million?
Cash or?
Well, no, we're not talking about drug cash. I mean, for example, a few of you got a net worth of a few $1 million. How long did it take you? It took you more than one deal.
10 years.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, a lifetime. Yeah.
Right.
And when you start looking at it that way, I mean, I won't say you'll become a workaholic like I am, but you'll certainly have a different attitude towards, because it's not work. When you put money in your pocket, you don't consider it work. You don't consider it work. But a lot of us, myself included, have been involved in stuff that didn't result in any money, or little money, or or we bought ourselves a job.
Mhm.
And that's tough to shake. That's because we know that. It's back here, our subconscious saying, well, you tried this before, stupid. I mean, what are we doing this again for? And so, but I mean, this model works. It just absolutely does. Now, one of the things I say, not necessarily the end of every seminar, but 20 years ago, I told Sally that somebody's going to start doing this. What I do. I said it 15 years ago. I said it 10 years ago. I said if I don't say it anymore. Okay, that doesn't mean somebody's not going to pop up because there's a bunch of mini-me's out there. We've talked about a few of them, but there's a bunch of mini-me's, but the results are mini-me too. They're not the same results that I'm producing to you kids. And most of the mini-me's, not everybody's got the right to make a living. God bless them. But most of the mini-me's are using you fodder as a source of investment for their deals. That's what most of them are doing. And as long as you understand that and you're cool with that, that's fine. But why do that when you're the investment conduit for them for cash instead of you doing it yourself with other people's money and other people, which are the two biggest levers? Any questions? Doc, you're my 5:30, right?
Yep.
Okay. Yes, sir.
You said on the last seminar, I think, that there's an app.
I don't remember you being here. I remember your black face if you were here.
On YouTube.
Oh, okay, YouTube. Go ahead.
That there was an app.
Oh, for broads? Get broads and paid? There is an app for Edinburgh hookers. But anyway, what app for what?
No, it's for the things that scare you.
Oh, there are. In your slide, I didn't go through the slide. Oh, there's also apps for affirmations. The money comes to me in abundance, and it's got pictures of big tits and shit like this for the guy. I don't know if there's any women apps like that, but I know there's plenty of them. Money, sex, and life come to me in abundance, and I should be going like this, But we didn't go through the slides, because we don't need those. We don't need those. Okay, any other questions? 6 o'clock is whiskey tastings for those, and kilt adjustment. In other words, for those of you that don't put on your kilt, most of you are going to put them on backwards. And again, I highly recommend the guys wear underwear under their kilts, because when you sit around in these chairs, when you see my wife get up from the couch, it's because across from her are guys. So, and she gets up. So normally she just stands. So she stands over because she doesn't want to, maybe you get a cheap thrill out of these guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah, when they're working. And then 7 o'clock is drinks.
You have to play Josh.
Oh, shit. Okay, the last Josh. Yeah. Goodbye, YouTube. Go fuck yourself. Yeah.